CB wants a $900 coat for free instead of the one they were actually offered. This story is going to sound like something straight out of a bad sitcom, but I swear to you, every word of it is true. So, this all starts when I was working at this mid-range clothing store in the city. You know, the kind of place that has a mix of decent brands, a few luxury items, and of course, some overpriced stuff that only the rich and clueless would actually buy. Now, we had this woman, let's call her CB, short for cheap bitch, because trust me, she earned that title, who came into the store one cold-ass December afternoon. The store wasn't exactly packed, but there was enough traffic to keep me from noticing her right away. She was this middle-aged lady, dressed in some expensive-looking coat and carrying a designer bag that looked like it cost more than my rent. I didn't think much of her at first, just another rich lady looking to blow some cash on stuff she probably didn't need. Boy, was I wrong. So, CB walks up to the register where I'm standing, already holding this coat that's clearly not her size. She's got this smug look on her face, like she's already planning something. I give her my best retail smile and ask if she needs any help. "Oh, I'm just browsing," she says, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "But I'll take this coat." I glance at the coat. It's one of our mid-range items, around $200. Not cheap, but definitely not the priciest thing we have. I ring her up and she hands me her card. As I'm processing the payment, she casually mentions, "You know, I was actually looking for something a bit fancier. Do you have any luxury coats?" Now, this is where things start to get interesting. I tell her we do have a few luxury items in the back, but they're not on display because, well, they're expensive as hell. She insists on seeing them, so I leave the counter and head to the stockroom to grab one of the coats we keep locked away for customers who are serious about spending big bucks. This is where things go from mildly annoying to full-blown crazy. CB starts ranting about how she's a valued customer and how she's spent thousands at our store, which I'll admit might be true, but it doesn't mean she gets to make up her own rules. She's waving her arms around, making a scene, and attracting the attention of other customers. I'm getting uncomfortable, but I stand my ground. "Ma'am, I'm really sorry, but I can't do that," I say, trying to remain calm. "If you'd like, I can refund you for the coat you bought, and you can purchase this one separately." That's when she loses it. I mean, full-on, red-faced, vein-popping, screaming her lungs out, kind of losing it. She's calling me every name under the sun, accusing me of being incompetent and threatening to get me fired. I'm just standing there, trying not to let her words get to me, but it's tough. I can feel my hands shaking as I tell her for what feels like the millionth time that I can't do what she's asking. "Do you know who I am?" she shrieks, her voice echoing through the store. "I could buy this entire place if I wanted to." Now, I've dealt with some entitled customers before, but this was on another level. My manager, who had been watching from a distance, finally steps in. She's a no-nonsense kind of woman, and I'm grateful when she takes over, but even she can't reason with CB. "Ma'am, we've explained our policy to you," my manager says firmly. "If you continue to harass our staff, we'll have to ask you to leave." CB doesn't take this well. In fact, she takes it as a personal challenge. She starts demanding to speak to the owner of the store, convinced that if she goes high enough up the chain, she'll get what she wants. But the owner isn't there, and even if he was, I doubt he'd bend the rules for her. At this point, CB is completely unhinged. She's threatening to call the police, sue the store, and, I kid you not, burn the place to the ground. I'm watching this all unfold, my heart racing as I try to figure out what to do next. My manager, bless her, keeps her cool and tells CB that she's welcome to call the police if she feels it's necessary, but that we're not breaking any laws by refusing to give her a $900 coat for free. CB pulls out her phone and starts dialing, and I'm just standing there, trying to process the fact that this woman is actually calling the cops over a coat. But then she hesitates, like she realizes how ridiculous she's being. And instead of calling, she just slams the phone down on the counter and storms out of the store, yelling something about how we'll be hearing from her lawyer. I'm shaking by the time she leaves. I've dealt with rude customers before, but nothing like this. My manager gives me a sympathetic look and tells me to take a break, which I gladly do. I sit in the break room, trying to calm down, my mind racing with everything that just happened. But here's the kicker. CB isn't done, not by a long shot. A few days later, I'm back at work trying to put the whole CB incident behind me. I'm at the register again, dealing with a normal, sane customer, when I hear that familiar, shrill voice. You're the one who refused to help me. I look up, and there she is, CB, back in the store, but this time she's got someone with her, a man who looks just as entitled and pissed off. Stood off as she does. I'm guessing it's her husband. Great. Can I help you? I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. You can give me that coat, she snaps, and you can apologize for the way you treated me. I glance over at my manager, who's already making her way over. Ma'am, we've already explained that we can't do that, my manager says. If you continue to cause a disturbance, we'll have to ask you to leave. CB's husband steps forward, getting in my manager's face. Do you know who we are? You're going to regret treating my wife like this. I can't believe this is happening. It's like they've both gone completely insane. My manager doesn't back down, though. She tells them both that if they don't leave, she'll call security. That's when CB does something I'll never forget. She grabs the $900 coat off the rack and tries to walk out with it, right in front of all of us. My manager yells at her to stop, and I'm just standing there, frozen, not sure what to do. The husband tries to block my manager, but she pushes past him and grabs the coat from CB's hands. This is theft, my manager shouts. If you don't leave now, I will call the police. Finally, CB seems to realize she's not going to win this. She lets go of the coat and storms out of the store with her husband, both of them cursing and swearing that they'll be back, but they never do come back, thank God. After they leave, my manager and I just stand there, looking at each other, both of us in shock. It takes a while for the adrenaline to wear off, but eventually we get back to work, trying to forget about the whole ordeal. But I'll tell you one thing. Every time I see a middle-aged woman in an expensive coat now, I get a little bit of PTSD. Update. So I figured that was the end of it. But no, CB had one last card to play. About a week after the whole incident, our store gets a letter. Yeah, an actual physical letter from a lawyer representing CB. In it, she's claiming that we mistreated her, caused her emotional distress, and get this, discriminated against her by refusing to let her exchange the coat. Our owner, who's a pretty chill guy, just laughs it off. He shows the letter to our lawyer, who assures us that we're in the clear. There's no way CB can actually sue us over this, but still, it's a reminder that some people will go to any lengths to get what they want. I've learned to laugh about it now, but at the time, I was seriously worried. What if she actually did sue? What if I lost my job because of this crazy woman? It was a stressful few days, but in the end, nothing came of it. CB and her husband never showed up again, and I eventually moved on to a different job. Oh, and one last thing. About a month after all this went down, I ran into someone who knew CB. Turns out she has a reputation for pulling stunts like this all over town. She's been banned from a few other stores for causing similar scenes, and apparently, she's even tried to get free meals at restaurants by complaining about the food after she's eaten it. Hearing that made me feel a bit better, like it wasn't just me who had to deal with her craziness. But it also made me realize how many entitled people are out there, just waiting to ruin someone's day for no good reason. So if you ever find yourself in retail, beware of the CBs of the world. They're out there, and they're ready to make your life hell. And that, my friends, is the story of the time a customer tried to get a $900 coat for free and nearly lost her damn mind in the process.